Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today to do a check-in for my Team Project Pan. Now, I'm a little bit early for this. I think it might go up similar time as it went up last month, but I'm filming this on the 1st of November. I think my last video went up on the 8th, so there would have been a couple of days of editing and whatnot, but I think I'm sort of like a week premature doing this. But I did this look using the Huda Nude Nude Rich palette, Nude Obsession Rich palette, whatever. And I think it turned out really well. And at the moment, it's sort of like the weather's been a bit crazy. So when the lighting actually looks good and my makeup doesn't look crap, I'm like, I may as well film something. So that's what I'm doing today. If you want to know what's on my lips, it's the old holiday hot buttered rum from Too Faced. I wish they brought these back this year. They didn't. But the Huda Obsessions Nudes palettes review will be coming soon. It's just taking me a long time. I'm doing like 3 looks with each palette, so it's taking some time. All right, if you're new here and you're not sure what a project pan is, it's essentially a project where you target a bunch of makeup or beauty products to use up. Now, the reason to use it up varies from person to person, but for me, it's a good way that I can start cycling through some makeup that's getting old or makeup that I just don't love anymore. And it's a really great way to see sort of the makeup that you've purchased getting used and used up before you start using other products. Now, this project doesn't stop me from buying things, but it makes me more mindful of how long it takes to use things up. And another thing I really like about this particular project pan, which is a full face project pan, so an item from each category, is that when I don't want to think about the makeup that I'm going to apply, I can just go to my project pan little tub, which is generally this tub, and I can just do a full face without thinking about it. I know these products work for me, but for one reason or another, I'm trying to like use them up and get rid of them. And it just makes things a lot easier and it's really satisfying as well. So this is the November check-in. I think at the end of December or early January, I will do a recap and tell you how many products I used up over this whole year's project pan. But I am excited for this check-in because it's reminded me there's some products that I've forgotten to use, but also I have used up some products already, which is crazy because we're sort of a month into the quarterly refresh and I'm surprised I've used up some of these products. So I'm going to get rid of those products and then cycle in new products from that same category. All right, as per usual, I'm starting with products that I have used up and then I'll talk about products I've made some good progress on, products I've made a little bit of progress on, and then talk about products I've made no progress on and why. But the first thing I used up, and I used this up really quickly, I think I used this up within maybe 2 weeks, it was my Pixie powder that I introduced last check-in. So there wasn't much in this. This is a 3-gram powder, which is nothing. I think a 10-gram powder is nothing. I like powders that are like 30 grams. This is 3 grams. And I talked about it last time saying that the packaging I didn't like. Pretty much had like a cushion attached to it. And you got to like tap the cushion onto your face to get the product out. And I found I just didn't like that. It made the powder really uneven and you'd have like sort of splodges in some areas and then none in other areas. So I took that off and I wanted to use that. Problem was that whenever I opened this, it would like do that. So I actually depotted it into this little tub and I used it up. So this is completely gone. I think I don't know if I weighed it or took a photo of it. I'll put the weight or the photo on the screen, but it's done. So there's no need to talk about it again. Goodbye. Now I actually have a lot of powders in my collection that I really do like. So I don't want to get rid of them just yet. Some of them are just, yeah, powders last so long that I'm like, I'm sort of attached to. But the powder that I think I'm least attached to, and that's how I'm sort of working them into this project pan, the ones that I like the least and I'm willing to like give up the quickest. This is a Mecca Max. It's the banana powder. Now I did actually pan the pressed powder version. I quite liked it. So I'm looking forward to panning this one. This is the loose version. It's a little bit more yellow. I have been using it the past couple of weeks to see if it works with my current like foundations and skin tone, and it works fine. So there is quite a lot in there. I don't know if you can see. It's hard to tell because pressed powder, like I'm going to have to weigh it and give a starting weight, but I've barely used it. I think I've only been using it, probably in total I've used it like 2 weeks worth. So I probably won't finish this year, but we'll see. It is going into summer. It's going to get quite hot. So I do rely on powder quite a lot. So we'll see if we can finish this by the end of the year. All right, next thing I've used up, and this is a big one, and I need to give a bit of explanation to it because it looks a bit funny. So I used up my bronzer. This is my MAC Aphrodite Shell Bronzer, which is an old limited edition bronzer, and I wanted to use it up because it's quite pink toned, which is really nice in winter, but it looks very blush-like for me in the warmer months. And we're getting into the warmer months, so I thought I want to use this up in winter, but I didn't finish it. And I really wanted to get it done very soon, like ASAP. So I did target it and I used it quite a lot. I'll have where I was up to last month on the screen, but now it looks a bit like this. Now it looks funny, but I just want to explain why it looks sort of funny. What ended up happening was I hit pan on the middle and there was like chunks of it around the side. And this because it's this type of formula that it can seal up. So if you have a lot of oils or foundation on your brush or product on your brush, it can sort of seal it up and make it hard to pick up. So what I was finding was that each time I used it, I'd have to scrape a little bit off, pick up that loose powder, put it on, and it worked fine, but that's why it looks like it's sort of been scraped, because it has. I couldn't just use it organically because it's not powder enough. It's quite a firm pressed sort of formula. So the way I had to use it was sort of scrape a bit off, use it as a loose bronzer and keep doing that. And so I did use it up, but it looks a bit funny. Now what I'm actually replacing that with is a bronzer that I don't actually want to use up, but I do want to get more use out of it. This is a bronzer that I've had for about a year now and I've barely touched it, but I think this is a good color for me right now. And this is the Marc Jacobs Tantastic Bronzer. So this was limited edition. They brought it back. It's a massive bronzer. This is 25 grams. To think that this is 25 grams and this face powder is 3 grams just shows you how small this is. But this is a massive bronzer. So there's no way in hell I'm going to finish this by the end of the year. I don't even want to finish it up. I just want to get more use out of it. Right now you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, right now you can see the lines throughout the whole thing. So I have used a bit in the middle, but I haven't used too much. So adding this into my project pan, knowing that I won't finish it by the end of the year, is more like a shop my stash. I just want to get more use out of it. I want to really figure out how much I like this. Was it worth the money? And yeah, so I'm just adding this in to get more use out of it. One thing I used up yesterday, I'm very proud of myself, is actually the Gen Nude mini lip gloss that I had. Now, I actually had to take the stopper out of this because I couldn't pick up any product. Hopefully you can see that it's been scraped as much as possible. I even had to get one of these little spatulas and I had to scrape it out the bottom and then scrape it onto the side so I can then access it from the side. So there's a little bit left, but it's not enough for like a full application. And I sort of forgot about using this and I sort of ramped it up in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, it is completely done. I don't feel the need to worry this because I don't really, the progress is that it's done. Now I'm not actually replacing that with another lip gloss because I do have a lip balm type product in this project pan, which I want to focus on when I want to use a lip gloss or whatnot. So instead I thought I'd swap it out for another mini Bare Minerals product. This I really, really like. It's one of their Bare Pro matte lipsticks. Now this is in the shade Petal. I've been using it quite a lot recently actually, and it doesn't have too much left to go. That's it. So I have used this quite a lot. Well, not too much, but if you look at it in the tube, that's how far it goes down. So I have used it quite a bit, but this is like in my handbag. I love using it. It's a beautiful lipstick. But the reason I'm targeting this now is simply because I want to buy this in a full size. In the holiday packs, from Bare Minerals, there is a duo, like a full-size duo. And I think in Australia it's like $23, but one of these is like $34 or something ridiculous like that. So the pack is less than buying one, but you get 2 full size and one of them is this shade. So I do want to buy that soon. And I thought before I buy that, I may as well use up my mini. So that's why I'm targeting this, but I really, really like the product. And the last thing I used up was my mini Stila Kitten Karma Glitter and Glow. Now this is a mini. This is not one that you get from like the holiday packs. This was like a sample that I got in a Beauty Loop box. So this had dried up and it was very, very hard to access. So once again, I had to take the stopper out and I had to get the spatula in and scrape it out. So I'm not sure if you can see, but it is pretty much empty. Hopefully you can see it's pretty much empty. but everything in there is dry. This was so dry. This little mini one dries up really fast. So what I would end up doing was taking some out, putting in the back of my hand, putting a drop of Duraline, mixing it to make it a liquid again, and then using it. So I only used this like on a lot of the eye only a couple of times, because by taking it out, putting on your hand, mixing it, you waste a lot. So this was pretty easy to use up, but it was also difficult because it was dried out. So that's done. Now I'm not actually going to replace that with anything, because that was sort of like a bonus thing that I just added in. And I don't really have anything similar that I want to use up just yet. Oh, I don't know if I said that was the last thing. It's not. I used up my perfume as well. So I'll have a photo on the screen where this was up to. I was almost done with it. This is a DKNY Be Delicious Fresh Blossom perfume. I really like it. It's only a 30 ml and I had like the smallest amount left. So I was just been using this every day, and I used it up. I guess I used it up today. There's a tiny bit left in it that I'm like, if I do the right angle, I can sort of get it out. No, it's done. It's done. And I don't think I'll use up a perfume in the next 2 months, but one thing that I do want to focus on is actually a body mist. It's not a perfume. I think body mists are going to be good because I can reapply fairly frequently, and also I want this out of my collection, and it's quite nice and light and fresh, and because it is quite warm, today it's 34 degrees Celsius, so it's quite warm. I thought this is a good one. And it's actually by Zoella, so Zoella Beauty. I got this at a Priceline event last year, I think it was, and it was early this year, I don't know. But it's fairly new, so I don't need to use it up. It's not going off or anything. But like I said, it's a very fresh scent. This is the Botanic scent, and it's very light and fresh, so it's great for summer. But the reason I want to use it up is this. I don't know if you can see, but it pretty much squirts out in a line. Look at that. Just squirts out in a line. This is shit. So I'll just demonstrate. If I put it on, let's see where it goes. Ooh, it went just there. Just there. Gross. So because the sprayer is faulty, I don't want to keep it around. So it's something that I'm just going to have to put up with for a while and see how fast I use this up. So this is pretty full. It's around the top, so I will take a photo of this and we can mark the progress as we go, but yeah, I don't want this. All right, let's start talking about products that I've made some good progress on. The first one is, I'm very proud of myself. So this is the MAC Fix Plus. So this is the pink light one, so it's with the pink shimmer, and I don't like the one with the pink shimmer, so I want to sort of use it up. I did take out a lot of the shimmer by emptying the bottle, cleaning out the sediment down the bottom, and then refilling it. So I did remove a lot of the shimmer, but last month you'll see I was up to here and now I'm down to there. So I have been using this quite a lot, and the reason I've been using this a lot more than like last month's progress is because it's been really warm, so it's nice and refreshing to use this. So I'm making some good progress. The next thing I'm making some really noticeable progress on, and I'm a little bit shocked at how well I'm doing, is last month I introduced a body oil. So this is the Nuxe body oil, and it was up to there, and now it's down to like less than halfway. I didn't think I was going to use a body oil that quickly, and in fact I probably could use this a lot more quickly than I have been, but I've been like, no, you've been using it very fast, you pull back a little bit. There are pros and cons about this. I do like it as a body oil. It's really nice on the legs. I use it on my stomach. I sometimes use it on my arms. So I do use quite a lot of it at one point at any one time. So I can see a noticeable difference every time I use it, because I use like 12 sprays of it. But the problem with it is the first time I used this, so I've had this in my collection for ages, but I haven't used it for the longest time. So when I was actually spraying it on my body for the first time, I had to get up during the night to go to the bathroom, and I nearly slipped on the tiles because this really makes the floor slippery. So I no longer use the spray to apply it. I just spray it into my hand, like 6 or 7 sprays, put it on my body, a couple more, put it on my legs, because if you actually just do spray it directly on your body and you've got tiles or a hard surface, this is gonna make you slip and slide. So I didn't like, I was a bit annoyed at it for that reason, but I have enjoyed the product. I just wish it was in maybe like a pump rather than a spray, but I have been making some crazy progress on that. The last thing I've sort of made visible progress on, and I've been using this a bit, I really wanna get it sort of to a stage where that I'm happy with it by the end of the year. So in the last month, I've been mainly doing, when I'm not reviewing or doing looks with eyeshadows, I'm pretty much using this. So it's my NARS Kalahari Duo. So it's an eyeshadow duo. And I don't know if you can see, I've got some baby pan. So I didn't actually make much progress on this the month before, but I'll have a photo on the screen and you can see that this pan is a little bit bigger and there's a baby pan there that I only hit the other day. So right now I'm reviewing eyeshadows, so I haven't been using it, but I'm looking forward to making that a bit bigger. And I did want to hit pan on this shade and use up this shade. I don't think I'm going to do that this year, but if I can get the pans bigger, then I'm going to be happy. So I've got some good use out of it. All right, let's get on to the products that I think I've made some progress on, but it's sort of hard to see unless I compare weights or photos. So the lip product that I've been talking about that is sort of like a tinted balm that I really like is by Bobbi Brown. I introduced this last month. I do use this quite a lot when I'm at my computer, and I don't know if I've made like noticeable, visible difference, but there'll be a photo on the screen and that's how much. I can definitely ramp this up. I've been testing out a lot of lip products lately, so this is sort of, I've been neglecting it a little bit, but I do know I've made some progress because I do use it and it goes down pretty quickly, and I really do like it. I'm sure I've made some progress on my Peach Perfect foundation. I was sort of hoping that I'd get it done by this check-in, but I have been trying a few different foundations, so I sort of neglected this for a little time. Last time I checked in, that was at 44.6 grams. Now it's at 38.67 grams-ish. So the progress has slowed down a little bit, but I'm still using it pretty consistently. And again, there's only that sort of wedge down the bottom that's left, so I think at any point in time this will stop pumping, but we're getting there. I've been using my hand cream quite a lot from Hourglass, so let's check the weight. So last time I checked in, that was at 82.27 grams. Now it's at 64.62-ish grams. So I am using this fairly fast, which is good. Last month I introduced a new primer. This is a Smashbox Minimize Pores Primer. I've been using this quite a lot, so we'll see the progress. So it was at 37.87 grams and now it's at 33.89-ish grams. So I've used a bit. All right, IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Breakout Concealer. This is a hard one because I can't see through the packaging, but I have been using it quite a lot to the point where I'm thinking of actually taking out the stopper so I can access it a bit better. I actually have been using this sometimes as a foundation, which is possibly why I haven't made as much progress as well on the Too Faced foundation, is because I'll use this, I'll draw lines on and I will sort of blend it in, and it's actually a really good sort of long wearing foundation in the warmer weather. I don't recommend buying this for a foundation. It's only 10.5 mil, so you're not going to get much use out of it. But if you have one lying around and you don't love it as a concealer, it does work as a foundation. But I'm going to weigh this and then I'm going to pop out the stopper. All right, so we haven't made heaps of progress. Last month it was at 41.73 grams. Now it's at 37.9 grams. So yeah, I haven't actually made heaps and heaps of progress, but I want to show you how to pop out the stopper because I've mentioned it a few times and people have asked how I do it. Also, when I pop out the stopper, I keep the stopper. So when I weigh this from now on, I will have like an accurate packaging weight. But I think people sort of go into this wanting to pop out the stopper on the side. You can't do it. I get like either a knife or a spatula type of thing like this. I get the pointy end, I put it right inside and I sort of just jimmy it out like this. So some of them are tougher to get out than that. That's pretty simple, but that's how you do it. Don't try to get it from the side. It's impossible. Get in there and like jimmy it out. Sometimes you'll poke holes in the plastic because it takes a lot to get out. Sometimes they just pop out like that. So I just wipe off the excess so it's fairly clean. I put it in my Project Pan tub. So when I need to weigh this product from now on, I can use it to get the accurate packaging. And I'm not sure if you can see, but it's made the opening a lot larger. I can see in there there's a lot of product down there that the wand just wasn't reaching because the stopper was preventing me from being able to like scrape the sides. Whereas now I can definitely get more product out. And also if it gets to a stage where I want to access the product down the bottom, I'll just get my spatula and scoop it out. I won't make it like completely clean, but you can get a lot more product out that way. The one downside to taking out the stopper is this clean wand that you see. That's because of the stopper. when I start putting this in, I'm going to pull that out. It's going to be full of product, but I would prefer that than struggling every time to get the product out. So that's how I remove the stopper. An example of something that I have taken the stopper out of, this is my Gen Nude primer. So you can see that the wand is like covered in stuff, but it's so much easier to scrape the sides. So we'll see the progress on this one. I'll grab the little stopper out, weigh it together. Here it is. So I'll weigh it. One thing I want to mention that is if you're doing this at home and you're not documenting it, you can just get rid of the stopper and just keep weighing this. But because I want to show the accurate increments on camera, and a lot of the time, like this time I took off the stopper when I'm doing an update, but like when I took the stopper off this one, it was like mid update. So it would have been an inaccurate sort of update if I didn't keep this. All right, so I'm still making some progress, not fantastic progress, but it's an eyeshadow primer, so you can't use too much of it. I was at 11.37 grams. I'm now at 10.82 grams. So I'm sort of using up maybe like half a gram each time. I do use this most of the time. Today I'm using a glitter glue, but yeah, when I'm not using a glitter glue, I'm using this. I do think taking the stopper out makes it a lot easier to get the sides and get all the product out, but it's not making me use it up faster, if that makes sense. So I'm using it at the same rate, but at least I can access more of it. All right, the highlighter I introduced last month is the Pixie highlighter, and I have been using this quite a bit. I'm sort of been alternating it with a new Jouer highlighter that I really like. Right now I'm not using any highlighter or blush, whoopsie-daisy. But you can see that hopefully compared to the photo on the screen, I have made some good dents, especially in that peach one. I might zoom in. So hopefully you can see that that peach one, you can see a dip in the side, like I could actually feel the side. So I have been using it quite a bit, and you can see like chunks have sort of been taken out of that one, but I don't think I'm going to hit pan on either of them in the next 2 months, but I have been using them quite a bit. While we're here, here's a close-up of the blush. Once again, probably no noticeable update. I have been using this every time I've been using blush. I'm not using it today, but most of the time I do, and I don't know if there's much progress, probably not. Seen a little bit of progress on my hair oil. This is like a shimmer shine oil thing, and I don't really use this too much because it does add a lot of greasiness to my hair. It does add some shine because it's got some shimmer particles in there, which is quite nice. But I only really use this when I'm gone over the top with dry shampoo. My hair looks really, really sort of powdery, or if I've used dry shampoo a few days in a row and I want to bring back a bit of shine, I will use this, but I don't use it often. I use it like once every 2 weeks or something, but it's just down a tiny bit. So I don't even think I'm going to finish this year, but we're keeping it in. I'm probably not going to mark this foundation. This is the Uemura Lightbulb foundation. I use it for mixing. I have used a bit, but the mark would be right under. Maybe I will just mark it right under. It's down a tiny bit, but not like heaps. Now, I did slow my progress with this on purpose, and that's going to sound a bit strange, but I really, really like this as a mixing foundation. And right now, a lot of my foundations, because it's a bit warmer, I'm happy to go a bit more bronze and a little bit darker with the foundations. So I've pulled back on this a little bit because, yeah, I don't need as much, but also I sort of want to save this for the foundations I really do need it with, because it pairs so nicely with most foundations that are a little bit too dark for me. So I've been holding off a little bit. So if I don't finish this by the end of the year, I'm okay with that, because I think after summer sort of finishes, I'll be pulling this out a lot. So I'm not going to be devastated if it's gone, but also at the same time, if I used it at the same extent that I was using it last month, I could definitely be done by the end of the year. So it can go either way, depending on how I feel, but I really, really like this. All right, my Colourpop gel liner, I only have a little bit left. I might zoom in again. All right, so pretty much every time I use this, I have to mix it with Duraline, which is why that area is so wet, but it's really only that little section in the corner, and I think I can definitely use this up by the end of the year. So it's taken me a long time, but I don't use black gel liner as often as I used to, but I'm happy this is getting some progress. Let's talk about brows for a second, and I don't know if I've seen much progress on the brow products. I have been using my Benefit Ka-Brow quite a lot. I love this product. It's getting a bit dry to the point where the little thing has actually popped out. Like I can probably, yeah. So if I wanted to, I can pull it out. You can see how much product is actually in there. It's quite a lot of brow product. So that's a little tub, but I have, yeah, this is getting really dry to the point where I'm thinking of rehydrating it with like Duraline, which would be bad for weighing it because it throws off the weight. So I think I did weigh this, but it's getting quite dry to the point where it's getting a little bit harder to use. It still works with quite a firm brush if you're going with a firm brush, and it gives a good effect. It's just a little bit extra work. So that's going to be super slow going. When I introduced it last month, it was 30.4 grams, and now it's 30.25 grams. So I've used a fraction of a gram, and I do think that, yeah, like I said, weighing it's going to be harder and harder because I think I'm going to have to rehydrate it as I go. So I don't know, I'm going to keep this in my project pan, but I'm also going to bring in a backup product that I've been focusing on a little bit more because I discovered something that I don't really like, but I can use it up. So I've been holding off on this a little bit and using that more. So I'll introduce that now. So it's a $1 Billion Brows Universal Brow Pencil, and I just don't really like this because it's quite of a creamy consistency and it just deposits too much brow product and it looks messy. So it sort of, to me, is like a pencil pomade, but really, really creamy. So I've got that much left, and I think I might start focusing on using that up because I just want it gone. It matches my brows pretty well, so I am using it today. So I put in the bulk of my brows, then I go in with a micro brow pencil and sort of define it a little bit. So I can use it, I just don't love it, so I want it gone. So I am sort of shifting my attention onto trying to use up this. I still have my 3D brow tones in the project. This has been going since I think April. I would like to see it gone, but if I don't finish it by the end of the year, I'm just going to get rid of it, but let's do the update. So last month that was at 18.95 grams, now it's at 18.74 grams, so very slow. Another product that's pretty much a lifer in this project pan is my nail treatment. I don't use this too often. Sometimes I use it frequently, like for a couple of days, and then I forget for a few weeks. So let's just weigh it. All right, last time I checked in, I'd used about a gram, and now I've used about a third of a gram. It was at 47.35 grams, and now it's at 47-ish grams. So yeah, I'm frustrating. All right, onto a few products that I introduced last month that I haven't made much progress on. Firstly, this is my By Terry pencil that I want to introduce because it's starting to dry out. It's in a really, really beautiful blue shade. I think I've sharpened this once. So I'll have on the screen, like you're not going to be able to see very well, but I haven't even started digging into the writing with the sharpening. So I barely used it. Like I said, I think I've sharpened it once. Now the problem with this is it is dry, so it's annoying to use. Like it's just not as creamy as it used to be. It looks quite nice there, but on the waterline it sort of can be hard. But also it's blue, and I do like blue on the waterline, but lately, because I have been doing quite a few looks like this where I'm documenting them, I don't want all my looks to have blue on the waterline. So I've only used this maybe 3 or 4 times during the month. The last couple of things are also things that I've only used a couple of times throughout the month. The first one is the Wet n Wild lip scrub. I don't know, did I weigh this one? Anyway, it's a lip scrub. I've used it maybe 2 or 3 times, so not much progress. The last one is the Dermalogica Multivitamin Power Firm. I said I wanted to use this sort of like under my eyes as sort of like a primer, or, you know, places on my face as a primer. And I did use that only a couple of times, and then I sort of forgot. So I haven't made much progress on that, but if I do remember to use it more often, I'll definitely be able to use it up by next month. So that's the November update done and dusted. As per usual, some products I finished, some products I've made some decent progress on, and other products I've made no progress on. At least these updates sort of help me sort of regroup things that I've been neglecting, and so I can keep them in mind when I'm doing my makeup from now on. So hopefully I'll make some more progress on some of those last like niggly things. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to see some of my past videos in this series, I'll link stuff down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.